This is a matte black Encore Acoustic, probably one of the cheaper of the ranges in Encore. It's £99 you can buy this for. I hate matte black because it shows up everything stain-wise. There's nothing exciting about this guitar except for it's a good beginner guitar for young people or even people who just want to start learning. The problem with this one now is that it's hurting his fingers, and that's to be expected because if you look there you can see how much height there is there, so the nut has to be brought down. Also at the other end I have a little bit of room to play with the saddle because the saddle is got about a couple of millimeters in it that I could bring down. So I'm not going to overly worry about this, but if I press my finger on the front fret it brings it down a little bit. So if I can get that really low at the front, it might just give him enough. But as he's a young fellow, a learner, it's only up here that matters. And I'll take you through this. This shouldn't be long. I suppose this should be called a beginner's guide to lowering the action on a cheap guitar. That's not a snappy title. Mind you, I do like Encore guitars. They're not awful. And they're very good for beginners. Some of their electric ones I really like the sound of. Right, taking the strings off, now I'm going to go fast forward. Right, that's the strings off, and Georgia girl wants to eat them. So she's not getting a chance to eat them. And she loves guitar pegs, but she's not getting the string pegs because I would lose them, they go somewhere. Right, so they're there. Right, now, yeah, you're still trying to play with them, aren't you? Now let's check to see how straight the neck is. I'll use my little tool. No, I can't see Georgie girl with you behind it. Right, okay. Interesting. It has a bend upwards, which means the neck needs to be brought down. That's my cup of soup. She's onto the thing trying to get my cup of soup. Because she wants to tip it over. She doesn't like it. She just wants to tip it over. Right. So, Allen key. It is it. Oh, it's very loose, very loose. Let me check it again. Too tight. I wanted to make sure it was working, that's why I did that. Interesting, when I loosen it, I can hear creaking and crackling. Is it a two-way truss rod in a guitar this cheap? Certainly is. How can that be? They can afford a two-way truss rod. Maybe it's not, but it feels like it. So I took it off a bit too loose, so I'm going to... Oh no. Yeah, loose, so I'm going to tighten it a little bit because it's just a bit too much of an on-bow. And that is just a tweak. Just feel that. Yeah, just fine. I'll test it again when the strings are on it. Let's just check the... Yeah, I can take a little bit off that. And take a little bit off that. Some of the frets are a little... Surprisingly, they're not rough there, but they're rough up there. So we'll fly those frets down a bit and get a little bit of smoothness going on them. Okay, I'll switch that camera off. I changed my mind before I do the nut. I'm going to put strings on, but before I put strings on, I'm going to check this neck. I'm not going to speak now. was the only one that needed to be touched. Now that's black painted. Someone suggested using cigarette lighter fluid, but I don't want to touch that, and I don't want to put acetone on it because I don't want to damage any paintwork or anything like that. So I'm just going to give it a clean. To polish these frets, I'm going to use a flat eraser because you can't afford to damage this black thing because then it's a major job. So I'm going to use medium eraser, and I'm going to use a fret protector as well. This is just to clean them up. Get them shiny. There's something there. I need my other glasses on to have a look at it. See what it is. Let me get 2 pairs of glasses on. 2 pairs of glasses. Let me just see what it is. I think it's just not finished properly. So let me just get a little blade and just see if it'll come off easy. Without creating a whole pile more work. I'm going to bring this down a little millimeter or 2. I'll just check to see if there's any bend in the body, or no, nothing. It's perfectly flat. There's no curvature on the body or that. Wasn't expecting any. So that means when I go to sound it, I can just put it on a flat block and put a level pressure on it and bring it down a little bit like that there. So I don't have to go rounded to get it to fit to the shape of the body. It's not going to be much off it. What I'm actually going to do is not use a pencil, but just a little blade and put a hairline mark on it that I can see and which you can't see. And I shall, I don't think you can see that. Maybe you can see that, maybe you can't. You see the little mark I put on? That just lets me know how far I can go. A little bit of sandpaper. It happens to be 150, but it could be 250, maybe not any less than 150. And I'm going to put pressure on all 4 fingers. You can't see them pressing down. If I put just 2 fingers on, you'd get this bit worn away. You put all 4 fingers on and you press down, you're going to get the whole thing sanded down a little bit. And I'm moving across so that I can see how much I'm taking off, because it's not going to be an awful lot. I'm not going to take too much of this away, because when I put it on the guitar I can bring it down when it's sitting there. So that's brought down a fair nice piece, like a fair nice piece. And just check it off for dust. Put it back on. Give me my little blade. can see or not, but that's taken off about 1 millimeter, which I'm happy with. And if I want it down anymore, I'll do it on the guitar. Not that fussed on this bridge, but it is what it is. Before I go any further, I'm going to just do a little bit of a bluff here. Cover up the little scratches. Take that away so you can see the little scratches where the strings were. I'm just using, it's called furniture touch-up marker, and it's just hiding. It'll scratch again, but maybe this might just make it a little bit less obvious. Right, okay, that's good enough. I bought a brand new one of those the other day, and Georgie girl took it somewhere and I can't find it, so I'll have to do a search of the house, find it under the tables or something, because she stole it, because she's a thief. Right, let's put the strings on. I'll move the camera. Here we go again, and I'm going to use my normal facility of throwing things around the floor without showing what I'm doing. Measuring. Yeah, that's perfect. Just perfect, right. So the string is loosish. I really must try to raise some money to get decent fret files. I'm probably going to do this mostly by eye. I'm only using these to save me going too far down, but I'm going to go down further than this. I don't know why anybody's watching this, because you've seen me doing this a million times before, so I'll probably, when I get the other string, speed it up. Let me just see. I really do need a set of nut files. Yeah, hopefully the chappie who I've emailed about the cherry guitar will follow through. He's made an offer on it, and I hope to get him to send £200 to the Assisi Animal Sanctuary to buy the cherry guitar. But I really do want him to be 100% happy with it. I think it's a good deal. They're usually getting around $350, $300 on the internet, but he's put in this guitar, it's got a pickup worth $200. But I've told the previous owner who gave me the guitar, you know, putting a new pickup in is a wonderful thing to do, but it's like putting a new engine in a car. It makes it go better, it makes it run faster, but it doesn't really, putting really good pickups in a guitar doesn't really enhance the price much, I'm sad to say. So remember that in future if you're selling a guitar. That's, you know, putting bling on it, putting this most expensive Floyd Rose on it, and really expensive pickups, people might end up paying a bit more and taking the pickups out of the guitar. Let me just check. That's really good action. Right, so now I'm going to come around the other side. Pity, you see how big the holes are? They're bigger than what they should be, because I don't have the proper fret files, and I really want them. So someday I will start a GoFundMe. No, that sounds like charity. I don't want charity. Beautiful, beautiful. Now, I do have one file that's pretty good for the smaller frets. But I need this because it's pretty fierce. As they say, this saw file thing is fierce and it cuts through very quickly. See, that's perfect for what I need, but it's not fat enough for up there. But I can't find another one that's like it but a fatter. I can't make out the name. Maybe I should try to look up something like that first before I do it. Right, okay. Now when you loosen the strings, they sit up, right? You press that down, and if you don't press it down hard enough, they're still sitting up. So the only way to find out if you've got the right height is to tighten the strings up, and then you can feel it. But that all feels wonderful. Yes, it does. Perfect. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull back, loosen the strings down. What I'm taking the strings off, because these 3 frets are a little bit rough at the edge, so I'm just going to, the rest are all okay, just those 3, maybe they forgot about them, so I'm going to use my little, if I can find the bloody thing. Where are you? Oh, there you are. I didn't put it away properly. So I'm going to use this just to take a little bit off the edge. Oh, that's better. Right, okay. Now, just clean this all up. And it may sound like I'm being lazy, but I'm not tempted now to work on the saddle any further, because I brought the nut down so far, and I brought the saddle down a fair amount, and I know that this is the place it's going to be played in. So I'm not tempted to bring the saddle down at all anymore at the moment, because this is a pretty new guitar and it will settle in, and I don't want to take too much off the saddle and yet a little bit of chip up at the head, which I will touch up just now. And I shall use my special magic guitar pen. It's actually not magic at all, but it just will do that. It'll dry up and I'll put a little coat of black on it and it'll dry matte. These things happen. I'm not going to play with that anymore. Right, let me just look to see if it needs any more fascinating touch up with ink. I actually had to tighten all the nuts on that because they were all loose. But I didn't do that on camera. So there's not another scratch on that guitar. I can see there's a few scuffs, but that's about it. So I'm going to give you a little tune on it after I've tuned it up and let you hear it, okay? Just a bit through almost tuning, and I checked the neck again, and as I suspected, it's just a bit too underbow now because of the pressure of the strings pulling it. So I'm going to tighten it up a bit. Just tighten a couple of turns. That's perfect. Strange, because it's going the wrong way. Must have a double truss rod in it. Amazed. I'm amazed. I'm going to look up this acoustic guitar and see if I can find any specs on it. It's just a simple Encore, but I couldn't find any specs on it, so it'll be interesting to see what that truss rod does. But it's working, it's perfectly now. Actually, it's perfectly straight. I prefer a slight underbow, but because I'm not bringing down the saddle, I'll make do with a perfectly straight neck. Okay, the action's lovely now, and a little inexpensive guitar. me, that's not the guitar. Brand new strings. I stretched the top ones, but it's playing nicely. Excellent action. Even the action up there is okay. Not the world's greatest, but it's up there, it's fantastic. Okay, it's going home to its mommy. I'm going to give this a bit of a going home to its daddy. I'm going to give this a little bit of a wash with water and a little bit of soap. Nothing else. All right?